Hey everyone, it's me Bailey and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, a spinner wheel will determine how many hours I'm going to be reading. So over the next few days, I am going to have a spinner wheel pick how many hours I'm going to be reading, and I'm essentially going to be mood reading. I don't really have a TBR or anything. I do have my first book picked out, but there is no TBR essentially, and I'm just going to kind of read whatever speaks to me. I am currently not reading anything at the moment, but like I mentioned, I did go ahead and pick out my first book. So I do have the book that I will be starting with. However, I do still have books on my August TBR, so those are options as well. So let's go ahead and spin to see how many hours I am going to be reading today. I have it set from 1 to 8, so I could get 1 hour, I could get 8 hours. Obviously the goal is to potentially read more than the spinner wheel, but there is no penalty if I read more, and there's no penalty if I read less. This is just a fun little challenge to see if I can read for the amount of hours that was fun for. And also I will not be removing the number once I picked it, so if I get 5 hours today, I could get 5 hours tomorrow. So with that, let me go ahead and spin the wheel to see how many hours I'm going to be reading for today. Okay, so we got off pretty easy today and we got 1 hour. So I will be reading for 1 hour, and the book that I'm going to be reading is Toe to Toe by Fallon Ballard. This is a romance that is following 2 dancers. Actually, I think it's only 1 dancer. Maybe, I don't know. Oh yeah, so we are following 2 dancers. We're following Allegra and we're following Cord. And Allegra wants to be a principal ballerina, and she has to ask Cord, who is the lead dancer of an all-male review, to help her with her like sex appeal for the lead role that she wants as being a principal ballerina. So I feel like this will be fun. I feel like this will be cute. I haven't heard anyone talk about this book ever, so I'm excited to get into this. I really enjoyed everything that I've read from Fallon Ballard before, so I'm excited to start this, and I will be setting a timer for 1 hour to do some reading. I do obviously plan on going over that 1 hour time limit for today, but that is just a starting point. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and start Toe to Toe, and I will probably update once my hour is over. Okay, so I have about 30 seconds left on the timer, so I am just gonna go ahead and like give my update now with like the 30 seconds left, because obviously I'm not gonna read much more in that time. But I have made some pretty good progress in Toe to Toe, and so I'm currently on chapter 11. I feel like it was perfect timing because I ended like right when chapter 10 was ending, so I'm on page 110, which is the start of chapter 11. And so far I've read about a third of the book, and I'm enjoying it so far. It's so fun with everything that's going on right now. So we're following Allegra, and she is a ballerina. She's a professional ballerina, and she is like a soloist in her company, but she wants to be principal ballerina, which essentially means that she would be like the head dancer of the program that they're doing. And her like ballet director is like kind of skeevy and gross, and he has hit on her inappropriately, and she essentially said that she was not going to sleep with him, and he is essentially holding that against her in a sense, because he is now saying that like she has no sex appeal for the role in the next program that they're trying to do. And so one night with her sister, they go to a like Magic Mike-esque sort of show, and Allegra sees one of the dancers and she's like, I need to ask him for help. And so she ends up asking him, his name is Cord, and he agrees to help her with finding some sex appeal for her dancing so that way she can potentially get this role. And so we're basically just following them as they are going through these lessons, and he's taking her to a bunch of different dance classes to try and get her out of her comfort zone a little bit and to try and see if, you know, she can learn some new techniques by trying a bunch of different dancing styles that she's never tried before. And so far I'm having such a fun time. He also has a twin sister, which we love, and so I just am having a really good time with this. I feel like this just reminds me so much of like when I was younger and I danced, because I danced for like literally the entirety of my childhood. I danced for 15 years growing up. So like reading this about dancers and stuff, like I feel like a lot of the things that Allegra is talking about is like very like, yeah, like it's very true to the dance world. So this is so fun. I'm having such a good time. I am definitely going to continue reading this tonight, but this little portion of me reading for the video is over because I did hit my 1 hour reading goal for today. So if I do end up finishing this, I will let you know. But of course, the reading time will just not count towards my hours for tomorrow. So I did want to go ahead, pop in, give my update, let you know that I'm absolutely loving it. And I will probably talk to you again once it's time to spin for my next time limit for how long I'm going to be reading tomorrow. It is now the next morning and we are going to spin to see how many hours I read today. So obviously yesterday we only got 1 hour and I ended up picking up Toe to Toe. I have since finished this book and it was really good. I gave it 4.25 stars. This book is if Honey, Step Up, and Magic Mike had a baby, and this is the book that you would get from that. And I ate it up. I thought it was fun. I thought it was sweet. It was like such a good time and I would definitely recommend. I had a really good time reading this. And then, so that is that on that. So let's spin to see how many hours I need to read for today. Okay, we got 1 again. So I'm going to actually respin because I want like a higher number. I want something that's going to be a little bit more challenging than that. So okay, we got 3, so I guess I'll take it. 3 is better than 1, so I guess apparently like I'm just meant to have like nice easy reading days this weekend. So I did get 3 hours. So last night I did end up starting Best Offer Wins by Marissa Cashino, and I am on page 37, which is the start of chapter 5. So not super far into this, but I definitely do expect to finish this potentially within those 3 hours. So this is what I'm going to be reading. I am expecting to have a grocery delivery here in the next few minutes, so I am going to do some reading until then. And then after that, I want to really hit the ground running with my reading for today. So I am hoping to finish this today. And because this book really isn't that long. So this book has 269 pages in it and I'm already like 37 pages into it. So 230-ish pages left. So I definitely think that that is doable in the 3 hours. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead, start my timer and get to reading. So I accidentally did a thing. So I've been sitting here reading Best Offer Wins, and I went to pause the timer because I was going to take a small little break from reading, and I accidentally exited the timer. And I did not see where I was at. I think I had like an hour and 20 minutes left on the timer. So, oh my goodness. Literally, if I would have just stuck to an hour, like my time would have been over by now. But like, I think I still had an hour and 20 minutes left in on the timer. So I'm going to reset the timer for an hour and 20 minutes, and hopefully that is the amount of time that I had left. But I guess while I'm here talking to you, I can give my update in best offer wins. So I am currently on page 178, and this book is such a like silly goofy time. Like this book, Margot, there is something wrong with Margot. Like she needs to go back to therapy because there's something wrong with her. And the way that she's like literally obsessed with this house. And I mean, like, I kind of get it because, like, when I bought my house, like, I walked in the door and I was like, oh, yeah, like, this is my house. Like, I have to buy it. Like, this is my house. Like, I have to buy it. And so, like, I get it to an extent, but, like, also, too, if it would not have worked out, I think I probably would have just tried to find the same floor plan like in a different neighborhood somewhere else. Like I don't think I would have been like trying to stalk the people that bought the house instead. Like I don't know, it just sounds like so crazy, and especially too considering like in my neighborhood there are so many other houses that have the same exact floor plan, and there's one house literally like a street over that has like the same exact like outside of my house as me, and like but it's like flipped, so like the same bricks and everything and like color scheme, but it's just like flipped in the opposite direction. So it's like there are other houses, and maybe just because I maybe I just can't relate to Margot and the fact that I've like never been so willing to want something so bad that I would like stalk somebody for it. But honestly, this is something, like it is something. It's so like goofy. Like it's feeling so goofy. And she's like putting her reporter background to use and like trying to dig up dirt on like the man that lives in this house so she can like blackmail him into like letting her buy this house from him. Like it's kind of crazy, kind of insane. But it is fun. I'm having a good time. It's not really like thrilling. It's not really like mystery per se, but it's definitely something. I feel like it's definitely leaning a little bit more like literary in a sense. Like obviously the I guess like thrilling part is that Margot wants to buy this house so bad and that she's like willing to like stalk these people in order to get it. I guess it's like the more thrilling aspect of it, but like it's definitely just feeling like a literary fiction book. Like we're following Margot, she's going to work, she has her husband, they're living in this apartment, she's like walking the dog for the neighbor, like so she's just like doing regular things, and then also too she just so happens to be like stalking this man. So I don't know, it's fun. I'm definitely having a fun time reading it. And yeah, I don't know. I will say I definitely think that I would read more from this author in the future. I think that this so far has been a pretty solid debut novel. So I'm excited to continue reading it. Like I mentioned, I was going to take a small little break from reading to do a little bit of scrolling, I think. So I might still do that, or now that I've talked to you and like closed out the timer, maybe now I won't. I don't know. I feel like it's tainted now that I accidentally exited out the timer. So I don't know, but I am going to continue reading, I think, here in a little bit, and I will update you either once the timer is done or if I finish best offer wins, whichever comes first. So I have 22 minutes and 40 seconds left on the timer for today's challenge of 3 hours, even though we know that I accidentally messed it up earlier and accidentally exited out of it, but that's okay. But I did want to pop in and let you know that I did finish Best Offer Wins by Marissa Cashino, and I get the hype. I am rating this book 4 stars. This was so silly, goofy, and fun. Like this was just such a fun mystery thriller. It definitely had me wanting to know more. I definitely was feeling very like interested in the premise and what was going to happen and what kind of shenanigans that Margot was going to get up to and everything that she was going to do in order to secure this house. And I will say that the ending, I am like, yeah, that was kind of wild, because the way that her husband played a huge role into the way that the story played out, and then for him to literally throw this massive fit to not even learn his lesson, quite insane. So I don't know, overall I felt like it was a really good time. Like I mentioned earlier, it does lean a little bit more lit-ficky. It's not as like thrillery or mystery-y as some would prefer. I would say it's definitely light on those themes, but overall it was good, and I would definitely recommend it if you're looking to get more into the mystery thriller genre, but you do lean a little bit more like lit fic leaning. But overall this was good. I enjoyed it. 4 stars to this. And now with my 22 minutes, I will be moving on to my next book. So for some reason the real shorts have been getting to me, and I feel like this would be something that they would have adapted from. And so also too, I just feel like I'm in such a fantasy mood as well now. But so the book that I'm going to be picking up is The Aspect of Essence by Samantha Amstutz, and this is the first book in the Elfin Archives series, and I think this is essentially like a elf like sci-fi sort of book. I'm not sure, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like for some reason this book has been like calling to me lately, so I am wanting to pick it up. But so this says, since arriving on the mortal shores, the elves have systematically colonized the primitive human race. As subjugated peasants, the mortals' toil is to supply the elven realm with riches. The elves' magic has degraded their race to a point where they have been rendered infertile. 100 years ago, they resorted to interbreeding with humans in an effort to preserve their species. So yeah, it looks like this is going to be about Serena and Jason. So we'll see. Hopefully this is something that I like. I saw this on TikTok and it sounded good when they were pitching it on TikTok, so we'll see. But this is what I'm going to be getting into next for the remaining 22 minutes that I have left on my clock for today. Okay, so my timer just went off and I have been reading The Aspect of Essence, and I'm currently on page 37, so not too far into it just yet. So from what I've gathered so far, we are following Jason, and he has been forced into this breeding program essentially between the elves and the humans, because apparently the elves are having a fertility crisis essentially, and so they've started having to procreate with humans, and so this has essentially given them this half elf half human race, which then allows for, of course, like more babies to be had and things like that. And so we're following Justin. He's been forced into this program, this contract sort of thing, and he is sent to this like king of some sorts home to tutor his daughter to essentially like impregnate her. I don't know. It sounds like kind of wild now that I'm like talking about it, now that I'm like speaking it out loud, like it's giving odd. But he is like very adamant that he is not gonna touch this girl with a 10-foot pole. He's like, I'm here to tutor her and that's it. Like I'm not doing that. And so that's really where we're at so far. Like there hasn't really been much going on. He's been there for about 6 months at this point. He's been, you know, helping tutor her. Her dad said that he can't tell her really much about like the elven race and like where she's going. Like later when she does go back to like the elven sort of like area of wherever they live at. And so basically the humans, or at least where she's living at in the human portion, they don't really have much. Like they don't have running water, they don't have, you know, that kind of thing. Like it's giving very much like old-timey sort of vibes. Like very like poverty stricken times. And then obviously like the elves have like running water and like showers and heat and like all of those kind of things. So they're more like futuristic, I guess, in a sense. I don't know. I am still like picking it up. Like, I still really don't know 100% what's going on. I do know that they'll eventually end up at some school of some sort called Centauria. And so obviously I think it's a romance between Jason and Serena, but I'm still a little on the fence about what's going on here in this book. I've heard that this is like a dark series, and I went back and found the video that I watched to get me to pick up this book, and it said that it was like sort of similar to like Zodiac Academy vibes, and so I think that is why I ended up picking this book up, because I absolutely love Zodiac Academy. And so I'm like, if this will give me that same sort of feeling, then like I'm down to try it. So we'll see. I'm hoping that I continue to like it. So far it's not bad. I will say it's not written in first person, which is kind of annoying to me, especially considering it's like multi-POV. So yeah, it's written in third, so I don't know. But that's just like a little thing. That's like a nitpicky type thing. So I don't know, but I am done with my timer for the day, but I'm not done reading for the day. So I will be reading some more of this, especially since my timer had me pause in the middle of a chapter. So I will at least be finishing the chapter out. I'm thinking that I might switch to my Kindle, because this book is stiff. Like this book is so stiff. It has absolutely zero give to it at all whatsoever, and it literally only has this much give because this is what I read of it. So like the rest of it that hasn't been read is like so stiff, and it's like kind of hard to hold, and like the edges of the spine are like super crispy, so they're like extra sharp. So I'm thinking I'm gonna switch to my Kindle. But yeah, thought I'd give the update on how much I was able to read today. I was able to complete the goal, so that is exciting. I do have plans tomorrow, so I'm hoping that I do get around the same number. And I might end up carrying this video a few extra days than I had originally planned to, because we're not getting any good numbers here. Like, we're not getting like high numbers like I had expected, but if I do carry it on a little bit longer, then it'll start to kind of bleed into the work week, which then of course makes the challenge a little bit harder. But I was hoping like, oh, on days that I don't have anything to do, it'll give me like 8 hours, and yeah, I can read for 8 hours. But if I have to go to work, obviously an 8-hour reading day is not happening. So, you know, I don't know, but thought I'd pop in, give the update, let you know where I ended up on the aspect of Essence, and I will talk to you more than likely tomorrow when it's time for us to spin for our next amount of hours. Okay, so let's spin to see how much reading I need to do for today. My plans got rescheduled for next weekend, so I should have plenty of time to read today. I am still reading The Aspect of Essence by Samantha Amstedt. I am currently on chapter 19, page 190. I really wanted to get to page 200 last night before bed, but I did not end up making it since I did need to do some editing. So I am just under halfway through the book. I will say about this book, am I loving this book? No. Am I having a hard time putting it down? Yes. Like I will say, I'm more into it now that we're like starting the classes at the academy. I'm definitely into it a little bit more than I was, but I will say I did see that around book 3 this does turn into a why choose, and people are saying that they cannot believe that it went that direction and like blase, but like from the jump it's very much giving like this will be a why choose, like in my opinion. And maybe just because I like why chooses and I read those often, I can see the signs. This is going to turn into a why choose. Like I could literally tell from like chapter 7, I think it was, when we get the point of view from what's his face? Oh, from chapter 8 when we get the point of view from Lycor. It was giving this is a why, like it's giving this is turning into a why choose. Is it going to be a slow burn one? Yes. Like I definitely feel like this is going to be a very slow burn why choose, especially considering people were saying that I didn't turn that way until book 3. But yeah, also too, there's like no inkling of romance at all whatsoever in this as of right now. So there's that. But yeah, so far, I mean, I'm enjoying it. It's not like my favorite thing that I've ever read. Do I think that I will continue with the series? We'll see after I finish this first book, but I am liking it enough that I'm like not really wanting to put it down. So with that, let's go ahead and spin to see how many hours I need to read for the day. I'm hoping for like a medium number. Okay, we got 7, which is doable. It is just after noon, so 7 hours is doable. If I read nonstop for the next 7 hours, then I'll be done by like 7:15. So it's not too bad. So I'm going to go ahead and get to reading, and I will update you guys more than likely once I finish the aspect of Essence, because I definitely should be able to finish this within the next 7 hours. All right, it is like 3:50, so we were just over 4 hours into the 7 hours that I had to read for the day. I guess we're just over 3 hours. Can I do math? Apparently not. Anyways, so we've got 3 hours and 55 minutes left on the timer. I did pause it since I'm not currently reading, but I did finish the aspect of Essence, and I think I'm gonna rate this book 2.75 stars. I feel like there's potential here. I did not love this, but I feel like there's potential in where it could go. I didn't love it, but I definitely see the vibes. However, not really like Zodiac Academy, really not in like the way that I was hoping that it would be. We do have, you know, the whole academy situation, but it's not real. I don't know. It's like hard to describe. And I will say, I didn't like the way that this was written. Like, I don't think I like the writing style of this book, because it's like written in third person, and I tend to not love third person usually anyways, but just the way that this was written, like, it was hard to overlook the fact that it was written in third person. Like, it was so blatantly obvious. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like this had potential, but it just was not really that great. Am I going to continue in the series? That is a fantastic question. Right now, I feel like my answer will be maybe. If I keep thinking about it, then yes, I will continue. But if we get a couple weeks down the line and I have completely forgot about this and I just don't care, then my answer is no. If I have not had the desire to continue to book 2 by the end of this month, I probably will be unhauling this book. Yeah, just not my fave. It's basically like a sci-fi fantasy. So like a sci-fi epic fantasy with a subplot of romance, and it's like dark, but like also too, to me, it wasn't that dark. I feel like the only like dark thing about it was the fact that they forced Jason into this breeding program. That was like the darkest part. But like, you don't see any, like, you don't know what happens to him while he's there. Like, I mean, obviously you can infer, like you can guess, but you don't hear from him while he's there or like anything. Like, he literally like takes drugs, blacks out, and then he comes to, and then you're just like, okay, I don't know what happened because I was so like drugged up that I don't remember. And it's like self-imposed drugging. Like, they're not drugging him. He like takes the drugs himself to like get through it. So I don't know. This was something. I don't know. I don't think I would recommend this to anyone really. I mean, pick it up if you want to. Like, I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but can't say that I recommend it. So yeah, I fear this was another TikTok flop. I don't know. I need to stop. They get me, and I'm always let down. So I need to just stop trying. Anyways, moving on to the next book. So I did grab 2 books that are currently piquing my interest. I do have Echoes of You by Catherine Cowles. This is the second book in the Lost and Found series. And as we know, I read book 1 last weekend and really enjoyed it, so I want to pick this one up. And then also too, I've been hearing a lot about Midnight Message going around recently over the last few days, and this has also intrigued me a bit, so I do also want to read this. But I'm thinking for the vibes today, I'm thinking that I might end up going with Echoes of You, but I think if I finish this, I'll start this. Like, I feel like I want to read both of these, but I feel like this one's kind of calling to me just a little bit more, but this one also is like calling to me like equally, if that makes sense. But I don't know, because I want to read them both so bad. Like, I wish I could read a chapter of this one and then read a chapter of this one and like go back, like do a little tandem read of the 2, if you will. Like, that's like what I want to do, but Obviously, I'm not gonna do that. I have to pick one. Or if I do like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. We'll do eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by his tail. If he hollers, let him go. My mom told me to pick the very best one, and you are not it. All right, we're reading Echoes of You. And then if I finish Echoes of You tonight, then I'll start Midnight Message. But I'm so intrigued by this. Everyone has been talking about this, so I do want to pick this up. So, well, at least I have my next 2 books that I'm gonna read, and I don't have to worry about trying to decide anything. So love that for me. However, yeah, we still got 3 hours and 55 minutes, and I think I could probably finish this in that amount of time. This book is just above 300 pages. It's like 315 or so pages, and so I definitely feel like if this one is anything like the first book, I feel like I could definitely get through this in like 3 hours, because I absolutely flew through the first book when I read it. So yeah, this is what we're gonna read next. I'm gonna go back and sit on the couch. I think I have put in a load of laundry and all that kind of stuff, so we're just like chilling. So yeah, Echoes of You is what I'm going to start next. Just over halfway into Echoes of You by Catherine Cowles, and I do still have about 2 hours left on my timer for the day, and so far I am absolutely loving this. Of course, like I knew I would. So in this one, we're following Nash, and he is one of the Hartley children, and I want to say there are 5 Hartley children, and so he is one of the Hartleys, and he is a cop, and he also volunteers for like a search and rescue thing in their town, because they do live in like a mountainside camping town. And we're also following Maddie, who has just moved back home after leaving an abusive relationship, and they are best friends. And they have been in love with each other practically their whole lives, but they have never taken their relationship past friendship. They've always just been friends. And now that Maddie has moved back home away from her ex, she is trying to essentially start over. And of course, Nash is there to, you know, be the person that she leans on and whatnot, and be her best friend. And so, of course, because they've been in love with each other for all these years, they will, I guess, eventually like state their feelings for one another. But so far in the book, we just have them both being like, yeah, I'm in love with the other one. And we know that Nash doesn't really want to act on his feelings because of something that happened to Maddie when she was younger, and he just doesn't want that. And so he like doesn't want to lose her, and he feels like if he stays just her friend, then he will always have her in his life in some capacity. And I will say, there seems to be like 3 different little mystery plot lines going on in this book. So of course we've got the stalking on Maddie's side from her ex, because he is crazy. And then we've also have someone tampering with the SAR equipment. And then also too, Maddie's dad, who went to jail, is now about to be out on parole. So these are some things that are going on in this book. So we're like trying to figure out, I guess, really not really even figure out anything, because like the real mystery is like who's messing with the SAR equipment. But I guess like the main point of this book is like the suspenseful element of like what's going to happen, because obviously we know that Maddie's ex is crazy. We also know that Maddie's dad is crazy. We know that Maddie's mom is also, you guessed it, crazy. So it's like, what is going to happen with all of these people? So I'm enjoying it, of course. I love Catherine Cowles' books, and this one is no different. I'm having a really good time. So far, I will say I think that book one did kind of keep me a little bit more intrigued than this one, but I think that one had a bit more of a like thrillery sort of plot versus this one. This one is just more like juicy, if you will. So yeah. I mean, obviously, of course, like them all being crazy, but like this one is just a bit like messier than the last one, I guess. But yeah, anyways, enjoying it. Definitely will be finishing this probably in the next couple of hours, and super excited to see what happens and how things end up. And of course, we know that Maddie and Ash are gonna end up together. I did go ahead and order the rest of the series. So I genuinely try to only order books and series like one at a time. I try not to order all of the series at once, but I just bit the bullet because I knew that I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and order the rest of the series. I know that I'm going to read them. I will probably end up reading it if it gets here within the next few days. Like I could read this before the end of the month because I mean, we still have like 2 weeks left in the month. So that's plenty of time for me to binge read the rest of the series if they come in time. But yeah, I don't know. I just had to. I had to. So hopefully those will be coming here in the next few days because I did order them. So, but yeah, anyways, thought I'd give that little bit of an update on my reading and where we're at, how much time we have left on the timer and all of the things. And I'm gonna get back to reading because the longer I talk to you, the longer I'm gonna have to read for. So with that, I will talk to you more than likely once I finish Echoes of You. I have like 48 minutes left on the timer, and I did finish Echoes of You by Catherine Cowles, and I enjoyed this. I feel like this book did take a bit of a turn. I will say that I feel like we got a lot of answers, I guess, but I feel like it was also like a little predictable. But I will say the ex-boyfriend ended up being a lot crazier than anticipated. So yeah, definitely would recommend this. I do still think that I liked book one just a little bit better, and so for that reason I am giving this book 4 stars. Still a really, really good book. Definitely enjoyed my time reading this. And yeah, so now that I am done reading this, I think I will go ahead and pick up Midnight Message for the rest of the evening. I am going to bed in like an hour, so I am hoping to get some reading done in this before going to bed. And yeah, I'm thinking I might end up picking it up on my Kindle because I want to say this is on Kindle Unlimited probably. So yeah, I think I'm going to pick this up on Kindle, and this is a dark romance. And from what I've heard online, we're following this girl who gets obsessed with this hockey player, and she ends up messaging him on like Instagram or something, and he doesn't respond. So she starts stalking him, but little does she know he's stalking her back. So I feel like this could be up my alley. So I think this is what I'm going to start, and I'm going to read this for the next 45 minutes. So with that being said, I'm going to go so I can start reading this, and I will talk to you once the timer is up. Okay, my timer just went off, and I have been reading Midnight Message by Avina St. Graves, and I have been actually reading it on my Kindle, and like the page difference is a little different on Kindle than it is physically, but I am on chapter 3, page 31 in the physical book, and so far, our main girl Mina, she's a little delulu. She's delulu, but I feel like this is gonna be fun. I'm definitely interested to get into Leo's point of view to see kind of what's going on like on his side of things, because so far basically we're following Mina. She is an author, and she's been like kind of struggling with her sales and things and just trying to make it as an author. And so she ends up messaging Leo, who is this professional hockey player, and is like, hey, I saw your picture. You look like the male main character in my most recent book. I would love for you to read it, and or like I would love to purchase an autograph from you, like if you ever end up selling.
It was a very like, you know, regular message. I feel like it wasn't like weird. But then we get into her head and she's like, he's my soulmate and I love him and he's gonna be my husband. And like that's where like the Delulu comes in and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's kind of fun, kind of crazy, but kind of fun. And so she ends up being put in this group message with a bunch of Leo's teammates where they are essentially just like making fun of her and like sending screenshots of her personal profile and like doxing her and just being so like gross and icky and weird. And she's like, yeah, this is like icky and weird. I can't believe that he would do this to me. And even though he like literally doesn't know her, but then he like responds and is like, I'm sorry. And she's like, I don't understand, what is he saying I'm sorry for? Like, did he know about this? Because like obviously he's in the group chat too, but he's like not saying anything in the group chat. It's just like his teammates being weirdos. And so she has now taken it upon herself to find this man's house, and she has been sitting outside of his house. And like that's just where I'm at in the first 2 chapters. I will say the first 2 chapters were a little on the long side, but I mean, so far, I'm having fun. I feel like this will be something that I'm going to eat right up. Cannot wait to continue. I am going to probably read just a tiny bit more tonight before going to bed. I did have to make an emergency call to my dad because my oven is like not working. So love that. I was trying to make a cookie and my oven is not heating up past 120 degrees, so love that. But anyways, I think I am going to go ahead and end this vlog here. I know we didn't have like absolutely amazing, super extra challenging hours to read over the past few days, but I will say I did get some really good reading in. I was able to finish 3 books over the weekend and start a 4th one, so honestly that was pretty good in my eyes. I know we only read for 1 hour the first day, 3 hours yesterday, and 7 hours today, but I still feel like 11 hours of reading still really isn't a bad number for the weekend. So yeah, I feel like I'm happy with the way that my reading went over the weekend. And yeah, so that's gonna be all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me. I'll have all my social media linked in the description. And if you have made it to this point, leave the iPhone emoji to let me know that you made it. Also, make sure to use some hype points if you have any. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.